Good evening. Good evening. Hope you all can hear me. Let's see. We're gonna have everybody turn off their cameras when we start, and we'll bring you on shortly. I'll make sure to announce you, Priyanka. So you have to turn your camera off and mic off. There you go. Thank you. All right. Well, welcome to DFW Alliance of Technology and Women's March. We're in March already, everybody. Monthly meeting, and happy Women's History Month. And we just celebrated International Women's Day. And so we're super glad to have you all join us this evening on a Thursday. We hope you have a beverage nearby, and we will happy hour together a little later after the program. So as I said, my name is Aries Webb Williams. I'm the Vice President of DFW Alliance of Technology and Women. I stand in the stead of our wonderful president, Shanthia Rajaran, and she will be in the chat, I'm sure, chatting it up with everybody as the evening goes on. So I would like to get us started. So let me see if I can share this deck. Let's see what we got going on here. And why do I have, oh, here we go. So we're gonna share the deck and let's see how they go. Oh, look, there it is. Okay, so welcome again. All right, so if this is your first time, we wanna say welcome. Thank you for joining us. DFW Alliance of Technology and Women, we are a nonprofit organization, and our whole mission and vision and all that good stuff, which I'll get to the next page, is really increasing the number of women in leadership and strengthening this pipeline of girls entering tech. We want no girls in the pipeline, no women in tech, right? So we want to continue to encourage that. And this organization has been around for almost, I think, about 20 years. So you are coming in at this phase as we've been transitioning through the year of 2020, which is crazy, but we are here. Again, our vision is changing the face of technology with women and strengthening that pipeline of girls entering technology. Our values are inclusive, inspirational, innovative, influential, and interconnected. So we would love to, we're really big on networking. As you can see, this platform specifically was chosen because we want to continue our legacy of giving you a chance to network, giving you a chance to practice that networking skill and build these relationships with more people. All right, thank you to our partners. We have, oh my gosh, our first title partner, which is amazing, Realcom, and all these other partners that have been with us over the years, with more to come. And so we just thank you, because we can't do anything that we do without our partners. And if you are in the audience and you're not a partner and you're like, why is my company's logo not on that sheet? These are some of the things that you get benefit from by becoming a partner. And we have so much coming up that we need your help with. So as I stated, we are a nonprofit. So everything that we do, it comes from the people that support us. So we have our Great Minds program, which is our Girls in STEM. We're doing hackathons. We have a lot of different programs, iLead programs that are coming out. We're helping create leaders through other programs. We have obviously speaking opportunities with our monthly program and other programs that we participate in. Also, our annual executive leadership forum, where we bring all the leaders in and have this. We used to have a big party in person. So hopefully, either, I don't know if we're gonna get to do it this year, but next year we get back to that face-to-face, but we'll definitely be having a program for our annual kickoff, and that is our fundraising event. So typically that is where we're looking for sponsors. We're looking for executive leaders to partner with other people in our members in our group to do some coaching and different things like that. So if you wanna be a part of that, let us know. Also, we are helping companies create their diversity pipeline. So there are companies right now that are making statements about what they're going to do about diversity, and we have members that can help you diversify your talent pipeline. So that is another way that we are partnering in the community and with our corporate sponsors. Also, a chance to mentor and help educate. We have programs that we are putting on this year where we want to train up more women as they may have taken a career pause. They may, want to get reskilled and things like that. So if your company has a specialization, we would love to partner with you in order to create those training programs for our women in tech and the ones that want to get into tech. Also, like I said, talent network. So most of our partners, we have a relationship so that we can, help fill that pipeline, and women who are in transition that need a new role, then you go ahead and we have that direct pipeline to our partners. So if your company's logo wasn't there and you want to see it, we want to have you go ahead and reach out to us so we can change that. All right, so in April, you're here for March, but we also are getting ready for April as well. April is my month. I'm an Aries and my birthday is in April. So we are going to be having our April event in collaboration with Capital One. And we have two of their leaders that are going to come in and help teach us about how they pivoted to working with their customers virtually. And also we're going to have Cheryl Orange is going to be our moderator with FedEx. She's amazing. That's my girl. It's going to be good. And so please join us for that in partnership with Capital One. All right, our Women Who Lead program, it's coming up, all right? So if you're trying to propel your career to the next level and activate your passion, purpose, and potential, learn how to brand yourself. You're gonna take all these, have these wonderful workshops with leaders in the community, helping you get it together so that you're ready to be out here in networking and building your brand and learning how to move your career. Please join us for that. You'll see more for our April newsletter and in our April newsletter. So if you are not receiving our newsletter, please make sure you are signed up for that. Also, Melinda wanted me to make a point to remind everybody that our newsletters go out every other Tuesday. And our next issue is going to go out on the 16th. And if you need to check your spam filters and make sure that atw@dfwatw.org is in your safe senders list so that you are receiving that. All right. What's next? Let's see. Oh, yeah. So every month we do a virtual new member orientation. This helps us stay connected in this virtual world. So this one is going to be March 26th. It's 8:30 to 9:30 before you get going at work. And you just join via Zoom. We get to meet each other, all the people who have joined that month, and also learn more about the different programs and different committees that we have so that you can figure out how you can plug in. You get out of ATW what you put in. I literally started ATW as a person just popping in on the monthly meeting. Next thing I know, I'm volunteering for a committee. Next thing you know, I'm leading a committee, and now look at me as the vice president. So this is how things can grow, right? So we want to see you there. We want you to come in, meet each other, and this is also a way you can build network with more people, right? We're not out, so you got to come on in. It is the 4th. Melinda said it. It is the 4th Friday of each month. Our new member orientation. So join us for that. And my favorite part, after we're done with tonight's program, we will meet again over at the tables. I hope you guys like this platform. Did you see the layout? Our operations director, Kavitha, she is amazing. She is the one that you'll see in here with DFW ATW logo. She killed it. She did it. It looks amazing. It looks right on brand for us. So I love it. Please give her some hand claps or something in the chat to say that you like it as well. I think this is so great to simulate that in-person networking feel. I haven't seen many platforms that have that. So make sure you make a note of that and you come back and join us again. And also, hey, you're at home. So look at what I did. Have you a glass ready. That's the best part about being at home so that you can pour up one and hang out with us a little later. All right, so now I'm going to pass this over to Jeannie. She is our programs director, and she will be introducing our next speaker. We have a 5-minute spotlight of this program, and I'm looking forward to hearing more. So Jeannie, I will let you go ahead and do that. And I think, are they sharing something else, or I'll leave this up so that
this is the slides. Thank you very much, Aries. Thank you for the lovely introduction. I think those are great slides, great information. I had the same path that Aries had. I'm now the director of the programs committee, and it is my pleasure to introduce Priyanka Agarwal, who is a member of Vibha, a leader in Vibha, who will be doing our 5-minute monthly spotlight. Priyanka, please go ahead and turn on your camera and mic.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Jenny. Good evening, everyone. Again, thank you to the team for giving us an opportunity to talk on this platform. We really, really appreciate it. So quickly, my name is Priyanka Agarwal, and I'm a proud volunteer of Vibha. So what is Vibha? Vibha is a group of individuals, just like you all in the room, who got an opportunity to go to school or go to college. And we firmly believe and we are passionate about that each and every child in the world should receive a primary education. It is their right. So I mean, when we educate a child, we not only help them with their future, but we help their generations to come. We help create a citizen towards who is safe citizen for the countries, and we contribute to the growth of the whole society in general. So that is why I mean, we are so passionate about this cause of contributing towards the education of our next generation. So far, we have touched the life of 2.3 million kids, and our aim in next 5 years to reach to 10 million kids. So one of the words you all will relate very, very positively is ROI, return on investment. So whenever we talk about giving our money to someone or investing our money, what do we look at? What is my return on investment? And before Vibha, I've been with other organizations, and one thing is always kind of, was there in my mind that some of the organizations' cost of operation is up to 75%. So when I met Vibha team, I was blown away that out of each and every dollar, 85 cents of the dollar raised goes into the projects. Isn't that amazing? Our operation model is powered by 2,000 volunteers that are working. We only have very few handful of employees working in India. Other than that, each and every one, including the entire leadership team, work as a volunteer. Currently, we have 42 projects going on, 9 in US and 33 programs in India. And the average of supporting annual education of a child is only $17, 17. So if you are giving $17 a month, only $17 a month for a whole year, you are supporting education of 12 kids. Isn't that amazing? So how do we do it? Vibha started by a group of leaders who were entrepreneurs in their mind. So they followed this formula of social venture capitalism, as they call it. We given us a short form to SGS: seed, grow, and scale. So first comes seed. We seed fund the ideas and the NGOs, which clears our the screening process, and we see the potential that they can be grow into they have a potential. That is one of the important aspects. And then, like any other VCs, we support their growth. We just don't fund them. We see what are the resources needed, what are the leadership they need, what marketing they need. So we ensure the success of that project. And once we see that, okay, we take, say, small county or small group of schools, that this initiative is working out well, and it can be scaled. After the scaling, we give it to the local government. We tied up with the local government to make sure these programs up and running. One of the very, I would say, outstanding example of this model of seed, grow, and scale is our project that's called Sikshana in India. We started with in 2006, we started this project from just 15 schools. And in 2017, just in few years of time, we are now 43,000 schools are using it. We had, we started with just one state. Now it is spread out in 4 states. So, I mean, this is how, we have been rolling out these programs across the board. And not just that, in this last year, we know how the situation was across the world. we as a team also have been recognized by UN helping with the food drives in India. So coming to US, we have several initiatives going in US as well. One is the digital divide. We know some of the families, some of the kids and the schools as well, they don't have same kind of machines and laptop or equipments that other school districts have. So we are right now partnering with an NGO in Atlanta, where we are helping school and the kids to get the laptops. Another program that we are really, really proud about is Study Buddy program. This is one-on-one tutoring program where the kids 14 and above, get attached to one of the kids. These are the refugee kids from different countries. And in last couple of years, the kids and the parents have invested 1,200 hours of the volunteer work for this program. So that's another example of how well we are running this program. We are taking this to other states as well. Chicago is the next one where we're going to grow this this project. And then we have been doing a lot of summer camps, again, all related to education and helping the unprivileged. We are doing the AP prep classes. Everything is free of cost for the kids who are coming from disadvantaged communities. We just did a college counseling, which was a great hit. So think about a household where the high school kids does not have anybody to look up to or see, okay, what should I do? What should I take? So it was a great hit altogether for us.
Hey,
and then one of the
Priyanka,
exciting,
Priyanka, we are out of time, so we want to wrap it up.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, sure. So yeah, I'm almost done. Thank you again for this opportunity. I just want to say one last thing is that the meaning of the word Vibha is bright, right? And you all, you all successful folks sitting on this, in this meeting and in this room can help brighten a child's future. Just, by your advice, by connecting us with the right people, or just by contributing $70 a month. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you, Priyanka. A great initiative. And, you can go to vibha.org and get more information and move forward if you would want to volunteer or donate. Thank you so much. You can turn off your camera and mic, Priyanka. So with that, we are now on to our March monthly meeting. And it is my great pleasure to introduce my program's co-chair who will be leading the discussion today with these two amazing ladies in Women's History Month. Kathy Andrews is my program's co-chair, and she is also a principal at Cyber Group. Just like Aries and myself, she's been volunteering with ATW for a few years and is also now part of the committee. In her spare time, she actually has 2 dogs, 2 kids, and a fiance, and Kathy will be getting married later in the summer. With that, I will hand off to you, Kathy. Kathy, you can turn your camera and mic on.
Thank you, Jeannie. Appreciate that introduction. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining us this evening. And I'm just waiting for our 2 panelists to join as well that are going to be, I'm very privileged to be speaking with these 2 women dynamos tonight. We have Amy Stevens with Top Golf and Min Kang with Brinks Home Security. So thank you for joining us. And again, we're privileged to hear a little bit more about your stories as 2 trailblazers in the IT industry. So Amy, I'm going to let you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, and then I'll let Min go ahead and introduce herself, a little bit of details on her background as well.
Okay, well, hello everybody. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for inviting me this evening. I see some familiar names in the chat, so I have to call those out. Some names I've not seen in a while. So Cynthia, Anne, great to see you virtually. And Stephanie, really nice to see you as well. So great to see the ladies in the network community. Again, my name is Amy Stevens. I am the Director of Technology Innovation for Topgolf over corporate applications and security. So as many of you know, Topgolf is an entertainment venue. We pride ourselves in being a technology company and all of our gaming and our food and beverage as well. But my responsibility is really truly in the back office corporate functions. So that's my role.
Okay, thank you, Amy. And Min, if you could tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. This is actually like my first meeting, with ATW members. So I'm so glad to be here, and thank you for having me tonight. It really means a lot to me. My name is Min Kang. I'm a Chief Product and Strategy Officer at Brings Home. So I don't know if you're familiar with our company. So we are basically delivering home security as well as smart home services to your home. And we've been kind of like non-tech companies in the past few years, but we're trying to change ourselves and transform ourselves and really kind of like coming up with the real products that solves the problems at your hand at home. So we're trying to, bring in new products and new technologies to the home so your life gets, much easier and much secure. So that's basically, what I do. So introducing new product and new technologies and really trying to solve, the consumer problem with the various like products. That's me.
Okay, fabulous. So I'm going to go ahead and just jump in and ask you both a couple of questions just to, hear your backgrounds. So, my biggest question, I think, would be, how did you both decide to go into technology, and what, advice could you give to other young girls that are interested? Maybe you can go first.
Okay. Well, my path was pretty traditional. I mean, I was one of those girls when I grew up loving science. I was the kid who looked for rocks, played with reptiles, wanted the chemistry sets. And I was very, very fortunate. I realize that now, in that my parents enabled me. They never discouraged me from being the kid that wanted to play with science. My father, in fact, he would take me out and look for the rocks. So I took that passion and I looked around me and saying, what do I want to do for when I grow up? One of my neighbors was a doctor, and I thought it was so cool that she had a career as a woman outside the home being a doctor. And I'm like, that's what I want to do. So I entered university in pre-med, thought for sure I'm going to be an MD. Got about 2 years in, and I had a little bit of a problem when I realized, oh, geez, I'm allergic to some of the chemicals in the labs. Being a biochem major, that was not going to work, being allergic to the chemistry, chemicals. So I started looking around and thought, ooh, who are all these cool kids? They're playing with really fun things. They're developing, they're creating. What is this? Electrical engineers and computer science majors. And so I pivoted halfway through my college career and ended up in computer science. And I have not looked back. So graduated from the University of Illinois, found myself traveling to Washington, D.C. all alone, didn't know a soul, working on feature phone software, doing assembly language programming. Then ended up going and working in the Pentagon, which was kind of fun, did some government consulting. So again, did a lot of, different varieties there. And one of the consulting companies I work for said, we are a technology company to, provide solutions for the government. You have to have a master's. Oh, okay. So I went back to school and got a master's in computer science with a background in artificial intelligence. And that helped to really jumpstart me again. I worked on my thesis doing fingerprint recognition systems with neural networks. Found myself working for yet another company where we're doing banking systems, leveraged my AI experience to do signature recognition, and just kept evolving. Had a couple kids along the way, worked through a few startup companies. But what I love about tech is I got to really experience many different industries. So many years ago, I found myself working for a distribution company. You think, oh, electrical distribution, not the exciting thing. Talk about a non-tech company. But they hired me to be an architect of their data warehousing system. I started doing that, bringing in their inventory, doing reports, built a team, built a group, started getting leadership. And all of a sudden the CFO came to me and said, you're putting a lot of reports and you're getting information that I can't get out of my systems. And that started my journey then into leadership and back office because quite frankly, everything goes to the CFO, was able to segue into Oracle ERP solutions, financial applications, and really started to expand my horizon from a leadership perspective. Started then moving up the corporate ladder because again, I got the CFO's experience or CFO's eyes. and did that for several years. And then a few years ago, Topgolf came calling, pulled me out of a very comfortable job and said, hey, can you come and can you build or help build our back office solutions? And now here I am a few years later. I have still business intelligence with me, but I've expanded that to cybersecurity, finance systems, HR systems, and integration. So it's been quite a ride. My consistent, though, has been really my love of technology my whole career.
Okay, good. And it's nice to hear, too, for girls out there that there's a lot of different avenues that you can go with technology and with an IT career. So thank you. And Min, what about you? How did you get involved with IT?
Maybe I'm a little different, from what Amy has been gone through. So I am not an engineer by training. I only have a very basic knowledge of coding, I'm using SQL, but I'm not a big code writers at all. But I love a passion, about product and technology. So that's probably, one of the big drivers, to just put me, where I am today. So I majored business, and probably typical college student, 20 years ago, I feel like, I wanted to be a person who's successful in my career. So, but I had no clear idea what I really want to do. So I joined Boston Consulting Group, because that's a good, popular job, for college students at that time. So I just started as a generalist first, but I was exposed to various industry and various clients, various companies. So that really gave me a lot of opportunities to learn different things from different clients, different industry, and different people. And I went to my MBA because at that time, that was one of the best resources for the career. It's different from where we are, today. So I went to my MBA, and I joined many different clubs because I didn't know still, what I really want to do. But one of the clubs that I was engaged in was technology club. So it's basically, learning new technologies and really following different, technology companies and, trying to try different products. So that really grabs my passion there. So I started to look at how should I actually shape my career. So I kind of started to learn different things about technologies and how to basically process these massive amounts of data to drive insights. And then after the graduation, I decided to join Samsung. Again, I started as a business person there, but it's a technology and product company. And that gave me a lot of opportunity to learn about how we should develop the products, how we should actually understand what consumers want, what is their big pain points, and how we can actually, leverage these technologies to solve their real problems in their daily life. So that's really fascinated to me. So I was basically, spending most of my time there in services and contents, business, so that, we can basically develop an app, develop solutions and contents to really kind of enhance consumers' life by leveraging different types of technologies, whether it's mobile payment solutions or whether it's voice assistant solutions. So that's shaped best of my careers. And then I joined Brings Home, not because this is a technology company again, but given the entire industry is going into the directions that mobile is important pieces of the consumer experiences, and we definitely want to address all these smart home technologies, connected home, AI, machine learning, computer vision, in all different pieces, how we can actually leverage those pieces into, one product where solve the real problems, when it comes to connected home and when it comes to, resident security. So that's why I joined the company. So you can have a hope that even if you don't have any knowledge in specific engineering degrees, if you don't have it, that's okay. I mean, as long as you have a passion, as long as you have a clear purpose to solve the problem, I think, anybody can be a product person. And I'm an evidence for that. So yeah, that's been the path for me, how I actually become a product manager and how I actually, become a product person to lead the product development for the Bring Some Security today.
Okay. And, the takeaway that I got from both of you is, you have to really try a lot of different things and go down a bunch of different roads to see what you like, and to, grow your knowledge. So I think that's good for young girls to hear too. So I'm curious, how do you feel that things have changed throughout your career for women in IT? Because we're, really still trying to bridge that gap, and we've come a long way. But, I even saw an article yesterday, and it was in a magazine called Money Talks News, and the top 15 cities for IT for women, Dallas wasn't in there. And I was actually kind of surprised. So how do you think things have changed? Min, why don't you give us your insights first?
Yeah, and I actually saw that, ranks, and it was also surprising that Bay Area was not there as well, or the New York was not there. So that's kind of the reality. All these big economical cities actually didn't make the list there. So it's combination of not just the industry or corporate world, but also the educations, right? So how we can actually create an environment where girls in the college, high school, even middle school and elementary, how they can actually have an access to these STEM educations, and really have an opportunity to really see the real examples of the women in tech field. So I think definitely that's something we want to all contribute to. So how we can actually create examples and create role models for these girls in school, and really showing different way. I mean, there is no one way to get there, right? So we can actually show different ways to get there and help them, and really encourage them to try different things, to your point, Kathy. So I think, not just the corporate world, but education and living in a real life here, just the usual life, we can be those mentors, or we can be those advices to those students in need, so that, they can actually see different examples and try different things by themselves. So I think, that could be a good way we can reduce those, inequality and gaps in technologies.
Right. Yeah, I agree. And ATW is big on, STEM initiatives. And you're right, getting young girls involved at an early age and giving them an image of IT that there's a lot of options. So thank you. Amy, what do you think?
I heard a couple questions. I heard two questions here, Kathy. I heard the first one saying, how have things changed? And then specifically about the DFW. So I'm going to give my insights on both of those. When I look back, what's changed in my career, like I said, I'm a computer scientist. When I graduated, it was one of the highest graduating percentages for women, and it steadily decreased. So it said, I did some research on this the other night, and it said, according to computerscience.org, we had the highest percentage of computer science graduates in 1984 of 37%. We now are only producing 18% computer science grads. So there's a lot of things to digest in that, but something I found very interesting is what happened after, during the 80s, the onset of the personal computer. And did some research, and it turned out when the personal computer came out, it was marketed towards boys and men. So a lot of young women then didn't see themselves in those careers. And what's really sad, if you look back in the 60s, there were a lot of women before that were in the computer science roles. I mean, we talk, Grace Hopper. We're talking about all the wonderful women that we've done with recently with, the NASA women, right? You have on the Margaret Margaret Hamilton you had in there. We had, of course, Katherine Johnson, all the hidden figures. Lots of women were doing math and science careers in the 60s, but then it suddenly just really dove off in the 80s. And thinking it's a computer, it's the how it was marketed, which is sad. And then when I think about when I started with my role, I was surrounded by men. I was the only woman on my team, the only woman around the organization, my male bosses. That was hard. I didn't see myself. I didn't see myself being up to move up the corporate ladder because there was no role models. And I think that's something as leaders in the organization, we're leaders, anybody in this table right now, we're leaders. We need to really work to help young women see us who we are and to have those role models, to know that they do have a runway to go up into. But it's also exciting too. We've heard the different paths here that men and I have taken. I think it's so exciting now when we look at STEM in general and IT, you don't have to be a science major, as we've heard from men. We're starting to see a lot more women go into those product roles, those QA roles, those product management roles. Just a wide variety of skills that are so important that women bring into the workplace and into the STEM careers. So really excited about that. But now to answer the question about DFW. I found that very interesting, Kathy. I started to do a lot of research on this when I saw it as well, thinking, okay, what is unique about DFW? If you looked at some of those other cities on there that were the highest percentage of women, or your Washington, D.C., your Baltimore, Silicon Valley, you got Dallas. I've lived in a couple of those cities. They're very expensive cities to live in. Women don't necessarily have choices when we have children to leave the workplace in those cities. Right, so you maybe only take a couple of weeks off or a few months off, and then so your job is still there. So you haven't had to go back and do the relaunch. What I have found in the Dallas market, and again, just in my little circle of friends, a lot of women will leave the workplace when they have children because the cost of living here. It's that re-entry point that I think a lot of women struggle with and can't get back into. And I've had a lot of friends that have told me they just couldn't get back into IT, and that was it. They just, chose their paths or whatever. These were, women that spent 10 years, 15 years, and just, that was it. My story is I was lucky, and that I did stay home a little bit with one of my children. Unfortunately, 9/11 hit, and so my timing and reentry wasn't quite what I'd hoped, and I was out for 3 years. Nobody would look at me. For some reason, what it was about, they think we, lose our, intellect the minute we have childbirthing process. Don't know what happens. CTO took a chance on me. One of my friends was his FP&A analyst. She took the resume to him. He called me and said, look, I like what I see. I will give you a chance. I will hire, but I can't hire you back at the level you were. I'll bring you in as an analyst. He did. I proved myself. 5 months later, he popped me to manager and doubled my salary. He gave me that chance. Not every woman has that chance. And so that's why I think, Kathy, I look at that, when you look at the pay equality, how many is it really with the women not being able to re-enter?
And one interesting, trend is, what basically COVID-19 brought us, right? Decentralization and digitalization, right? So I think thanks to those, more women can have an access to, the access to the companies and product, and they don't have to be, in the IT hub. They can still work from even, from rural areas to actually, make a contribution and things like that. And also, IT job usually is a very demanding job. I mean, with this agile approach that IT industry is taking, it's very demanding, but with this working from home culture and flexibilities that the technology is bringing, I think more and more women can participate in this workforce, and they can actually be more flexible and trying to find the balance between work and home, work and life. So I think it's definitely an encouraging trend that we are seeing, so that more and more women, more and more girls have an access to those jobs and opportunities going forward.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree too, and that's very interesting for sure. Yeah, I think, and then I also read that even with COVID, it brought digital transformations that were kind of like on the back burner, and all of a sudden it was like, to survive, you have to do a digital transformation and innovate. And it's opened up a lot more jobs for women. So, do you see that as well? Do you see a lot of companies, like what kind of innovations are your companies going through right now? Amy, why don't you go first?
Yes. I mean, I think when you look at it, it's interesting. I did another session at the beginning of the year, and I love the speaker. She said, when we look back at COVID, rather than looking at 2020 and saying, oh my gosh, that was the worst year we've ever been through, try to pick some positive aspects to 2020 that we can reflect upon. And when I look at this, think about, again, as we have a couple men on the call here, but for those of us who do have children and pets, think about what used to be on conference calls. Oh my gosh, there's my child. Oh, please go away. Or dog, please quit barking. But now with COVID, we've come into each other's homes and we realize we all have lives. Yes, the child may come in. Several of my employees, their kids may come in. Mom, can you help me with my homework? Dad, can you do this? That's great. That's life. I think the fact that we are having those conversations now is really now taking away some of the stigma of, oh my gosh, you had the baby, you won't be able to work. I mean, I have, guys that sit there with their babies on their shoulders as they're feeding them. I love it and I encourage it. So yes, I think this whole digitalization, the fact that we basically pivoted and proved that we can work from home and we can excel at it, and we don't have to mandate this, rigid 8 to 5 schedule. We can work from 8 to 12, and yes, if something pulls us away, that's life for a couple of hours, that's okay, because we may pick it up then in the evening. But as long as we deliver and produce, I think that's the big, for me, that's a big takeaway for 2020 is getting the culture change of get away from the hours and get away with what you produce and what you deliver.
Right. I think it made us more human.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. What are your insights, Min?
Yeah, I mean, half of the world is women, and usually, women make a decision when it comes to, purchase, like household, purchase and most of the shopping, right? So I think more and more companies, realizing the power of women's, purchase and power of women's, when it comes to actually make a decision, for family. So definitely, more and more companies try to have more women because, women understand women better and more. So I think, the deeper insights, will definitely come from, women, for women consumers. That's one. And another thing is, to the points that Amy made, all this like flexibility, all these like technologies, definitely enable more women to kind of like, participate in the corporate world. And think about the home security industry, especially, at the leadership level. It's very male dominant industry. And I am breaking a little bit of like, glass there. And, we recently hired as a female chief, commercial officer as well. So I think more and more companies realizing the power of women, from consumer perspective. So they are trying to have more women to address, the issues that our users and consumers are facing. And another thing is, with all these platforms that enable more women can be more efficiently, working, from different, environment. I think, this trend will definitely be accelerated. So yeah, I'm glad, to see all these like progress that the companies are making. And I'm very looking for, even more changes and even better status that we will get into. So I'm very excited.
Good. I agree. Me too. So we've got about 10 more minutes. And so I'm going to open it up to a couple of questions that some of our audience members were asking. So let's see, we've got a question here. It says, COVID has been a disaster for mothers. By the way, until a critical mass of fathers became full-time stay-at-home dads, we're going to have a thick glass ceiling in IT. So what do you think about that comment, Amy?
Well, it's interesting. I was thinking about something when Min was just talking. And this goes back to the earlier conversation we were talking about with girls, that before maybe our children did not see us work. right? We left the house, we got in our cars, we came home. They didn't really understand what we do or what was work life. So many of the people that work with me now, they tell me that now they have their daughters sitting with them. Their daughters are now seeing them. This is what mom and dad do. Oh, wow. Realize it's on more meetings most of the day, but still, they're able to see what that means to solution design. So I'm kind of excited about that now as well. We may be actually building that pipeline by osmosis with these girls and young boys watching what their parents are doing and saying, wow, that's a cool career. You're actually coding things, you're building things, you're seeing the outcome. I want some of that. So just, that might be something that comes out of this.
Yeah, I agree. Good insight on that. What do you think, Min?
I mean, we observed these things, in the past, like crisis, right? So women are more likely to be impacted by all this, like crisis. I heard like 30% of the women had to quit their job, or more likely to quit the job because of the COVID, because they have more duties at home and childcare and everything. So again, we need more secured, like social system, society that really supports these, the environment where women can actually, perform, better in these like special crisis events. Not because, we have to, but because, I mean, to my point earlier, women are half of the wall and they are the main decision driver for household, purchases and shopping. So if you actually miss that population, you're not likely to succeed and make money, for your company. So I think, as a company, we really have to think hard and how we can actually create an environment where we have that diversity in the workforce, so we can actually better understand, what consumers want and what are their pain points. And in order for us to do that, I think, hiring more women and putting in the place where they can perform better is definitely a critical mission, for the most of the corporates. So yes, we are more likely to be impacted, by COVID, and many women are struggle, between job and their personal lives, and it's really our responsibility to really think through how we can actually help these women and really create an environment they can succeed, so that we see better results for the company and we see more women's in the society.
See, I'm hoping to open up the glass ceiling a little bit, because again, hopefully the stigma has been taken away of, oh, if she's a mom, she can't possibly do the job now. But we've pivoted and we showed it, and it goes back to this whole, what we were talking about before, is getting away from the 8 to 5. Like I said, I have quite a few moms on my team, and I tell them, men too, if you need to go and do the homework with the kids during the middle of the day, you go and do that. I know, block your calendar, do what you need to do. Follow up with me tonight or whatever the case. As long as you get your delivers, it's good. We get away from that stigma. I don't think it's anything a liability now to be a woman. And I think we're going to start seeing more, hopefully, raise up into the career paths. But I mean, I do, respect what you're saying as well. I mean, my industry was hit. No question about it. Hospitality was absolutely just desecrated by COVID. We lost at Topgolf quite a few excellent, phenomenal people. And some of those were out in our bays. They couldn't do the work from home because they were serving customers. And so, yes, a whole bunch of women, when you look at who was impacted by COVID the most, it was the service industry, it was the food and beverage industry. And who fills those jobs? Women. Small business owners, women. And so that's what I really feel sorry for. The pain points are that group of society that is really going to struggle to get back in. And so I'm really hoping, as we start opening up things, that hopefully we can start giving them channels to get the small business loans to get their businesses back up and flourishing.
Yeah, right. And think about like the generations, right? The next generation, where, they are more open to talk about this like inequality, not just women versus men, but, other socio-economics, right? So if your company is not proactively addressing those issues, these generations will definitely, not going to consider you as a brand. So like Gen Zs, it's real value for them to address these equality issues. So if you don't, proactively address it, you will not be any more relevant brands for them. So I think, these are getting more and more important, and not because it's the right thing to do, but because it will impact your business, significantly.
Right. Yeah. And I have a 17-year-old daughter, and you're right. That generation coming up is like, we are going to be equal, and they're really passionate about it, and it's very admirable. So, good. All right. Well, let me see if we've got another question here. I think we've got about another 5 minutes. Let's see. Do you find it interesting that more CTOs are not coming from traditional IT roles? What are your thoughts about that? Min, you want to take that one first?
Yeah, I think, two things. CTO can be, coming from non-engineering or science, background, but they have to actually, own the knowledge and own the expertise. I think that's for sure, right? So, even though I do not have a degree in engineering, but, I really worked hard to actually acquire those knowledges that is needed for my job, right? So, it's okay not to have the degree, but it's not okay if you do not own the knowledges and expertise that is needed for your job. So fortunately, we are living in a world where, the access to the knowledge and access to the building a network is so easy, like easier than ever. So I think, acquiring those right skill sets, right education level, even though you don't have to go to the university or college or any special education system, you can actually learn things from YouTube. You can learn things from LinkedIn. You can learn things from like Medium. So I think there are a lot of different resources available for free. So I think you just have to invest in your time. So don't take wrong, you absolutely needed those knowledges and those, expertise. You don't have to have a degree, but you definitely need it. Second thing I just wanted to, say is, another thing is like finding the right people. As a leader, CTO, it's more important actually to have the right people in the right places so that they can actually deliver the right products and right experiences in collective. So you probably don't have to, obsess all those like knowledges or expertise, but you actually need the group of people who can actually, get the right expertise and get the right knowledges for, specific jobs. So I think, finding the right people and nurturing them, to the next level so that they can deliver as a group, a certain, product and certain, outcomes. So I think, you definitely need to acquire certain knowledges, but also as a leader, you definitely need, an organizational skill set to find the right people and organize a team so that, we can actually, deliver a good product and outcomes for the company and for the customers.
Okay, good insights. And I think find, really good people to open doors for you or to help open doors and be mentors. What do you think, Amy?
I think, when we saw in the past, when you went to a traditional, again, technical route, technical degrees, those degree programs don't teach business skills. They don't teach finance. They don't teach you how to think like a business person. Now in the organizations, what is one of the largest cost centers of any company? It turns to be usually the IT, the tech spend. So when you look at, the board and the other executive team, they may not necessarily feel comfortable promoting somebody up who only has the tech background because they want to make sure you can handle and address that P&L and make sure that you can speak the board speak, sell technology, sell your ideas. And again, a lot of us that come up the technical route, we don't get those skills right away. It's something you have to really foster and grow. So, an advice I'm giving young women now is make sure that if you want to stay in IT and you come up that IT career, terrific. But if you want to start moving up in your career, you better really start working and thinking like a business person. Understand how to read the P&L, understand how to give the presentation, understand your elevator speech and how you, give value to your stakeholders and your business. That's the only way you're going to be able to move up into that C-suite and that CTO role, is when you start getting those extra skills added to your toolbox of technology. And I agree with Min. I mean, it goes both ways. If you're a business background, you really need to learn something about technology, at least know what the major players are out there. You look at the trends right now. You've got a lot of things we talk about: machine learning, artificial intelligence, RPA. At least know what those are and how you could leverage them to help your stakeholders within the business. So I think that's it twofold, but it goes back to, business centric with that tech savvy, I think, is what we're both saying, just coming to different ways of saying it.
Okay, good. No, I think that's very interesting, and I agree. There's different avenues where women can get there. It doesn't have to be the straight route that is the traditional way. So I'm going to take one more question, and then I think we'll be out of time. Let's see, what strategies or tools would you suggest for women searching for IT jobs and positions? Amy, why don't you give us your insights first?
Well, the good thing is, I think that a lot of companies now are really aware, and that's the first thing, right? You have to be aware you have a problem. And I think a lot of companies are starting to realize, wow, we have a whole group of underrepresented people that aren't getting into our IT positions. And it starts with, recruiters helping to actively go look for people. I mean, I see some recruiters on here tonight, actively look for who can they bring into their pipeline to help with those. That's, absolutely, I think, where we need to begin on getting the women. But, coming to organizations like this, starting with companies. I had a very candid conversation with my boss the other day, and he's like, how do we bring more women in this organization? I've tried. I mean, I've tried to put roles out there, but it's also making the roles something that women want to take. And we have different skills than men, for the most part, right? But maybe not, some of us didn't want to always do the traditional coding route. But again, we have a lot more edgier, fun jobs coming up. We just talked about in IT, how many different positions there are within the IT organization. Seek out women for those roles. Let them know that it's not just somebody in a dark room all day coding 15 hours a day. Educate them on what the career in IT really could be, and then helping to establish those pipelines that we talk about. Go to the universities, work with them, work with the girls in high schools, help with the robotics clubs, all that. Let them see you as a role model, and I think that will start helping, twofold, helping girls be interested in the field while also really pushing our leaders within our companies and our HR teams and our internal recruiters to go out and actively seek underrepresented people to come into the organizations.
Okay, thank you. Min, what are your insights on that?
Yeah, I mean, as I said, like 10 years ago when I actually was in MBA, that was most effective source of learning. But now, I mean, there are a lot of like free and public resources available. So if you go to LinkedIn Learning, yes, they basically makes you pay for that. But, it's like, I don't know, like $12 per month. You will basically, get all the resources that you will need for your professional, development, career development. So that's one good source. YouTube, right? Check out, I learned like Python, from YouTube. So, YouTube definitely is a good learning source for your engineering skills and stuff. And there are a lot of great, productschools.com. You can always, get those product 101, technology 101, and then you can actually build a relationship and network there as well. So I think, leverage those free resources and find the right people and make a, network there. Learning from those resources, one, but actually building a network who actually knows the stuff, who is interested and passionate about the stuff. You will probably learn more than, what you actually get from those the lectures. So I strongly encourage all of you reach out to those social network and find those sort of people and follow them and learn from them, and that will actually get you the knowledge and trends that you need to follow. So yeah, and those are all free, so you don't have to pay for that. So I strongly encourage you to check out those things out there
and blog about it once you find out about it. Right? If you're talking about brand owner today, go out when you learn something, talk how you'd use it. Get your name out there as somebody who is a technologist and can apply it.
Right. Yeah, no, I think it's all about pushing yourself to learn and grow. And, you know, I'll reach out to you both individually after this. I'd love to get maybe your top things that you have discovered that have helped you, maybe with different, you know, blogs maybe that you follow, or, you know, websites or whatnot. And maybe we can share it with this group, because I think that, you know, the more we know, the better we can be, right? So, well, thank you both for joining. And I believe we are about out of time, and now it's going to be time for our networking session. So I will wait and see if the group comes back on there. Hello, Miss Aries.
Hi. You guys are awesome. This was such a good conversation. Oh my goodness. Amy and Min, we need to stay connected, because there are things that we could do to help you with that pipeline that you all need over there at Topgolf and at Brinks. We're creating some programs, and maybe y'all can help us with some of that as well. So we'll know exactly what you need and what you want, and we'll help with that. And also YouTube, I learned how to drain a water heater as well as replace the garbage disposal. So,
I'm working on that solution. So
YouTube does it all. Okay, so definitely. So everybody, we will definitely be meeting over at the tables again afterward. If you can stay for a little bit longer, just to hang out and meet and greet, and then we'll go from there. You will be receiving a survey at the end of this, so please let us know what all you want to learn and what you want to hear. Look at this. This is my homeschool right here. I got a whole situation going on. This, you got to just do what you got to do, right? We've all had to just adjust and adapt. So it is what it is. My boys they sit right next to me all day, get that free internship.
all right. It's all about being flexible and adapt to whatever you are.
Might as well. We got a whiteboard. Look, we're going to make it happen. So, all right, everybody, we're going to go ahead and move over to the tables. And thank you so much. And thanks, Kathy. You did a great job.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Lovely.
Bye.